from our Missouri studios. This is TPIM Special Report Live. Thank you, everybody. I'm your host, TruePowerIsMine. Today's date, March 18th, 2019, the year of our Lord. I want to open the show today with this shocking but fascinating headline. Man charged with disputing live stream of mass shooting denied bail. We should get our pencils and pen out, folks. Take note to how rational society deals with an unrational situation. But you decide. Wellington, March 18th, Reuter. An 18-year-old man was denied bail at a court in New Zealand on Monday after he was charged with disputing a live stream of the mass shooting at the mosque last week, the New Zealand Herald reported. The man was arrested on Friday, but police have said since then they do not believe he was directly involved in the attack at the two mosques in Christchurch, which happened on the same day in which 50 worshippers were killed. He faced charges of sharing the gunman's live video and posting a photograph of one of the mosque attack with the message "Target acquired," along with another chat message inciting extreme violence, the Herald reported. His request for bail was refused, but the judge granted him name suppression. He is due back in court next month, and then it goes on to talk about the man that actually did the killing. Now, on face value, the team was initially charged with publishing materials insulting other races and ethnicities, but that charge was withdrawn and replaced by 2 new counts on Monday. People. Here's the Scooby and the Dooby and the Do to this story. The world's getting a radically smaller place. And as we have these people, see, this story is just going to further reinforce the notion that we have to censorship more, that we have to keep more suppressed for a couple of reasons. One, what is the adage? Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words do hurt me, or some bullshit. I don't know. The bottom line is, man, why don't we just stop pretending that anyone but corporations and the very wealthy has freedom of speech? Why don't we stop pretending that the peasants and the peons out here actually, have a voice in anything? Due to their lack of monetary resources, this kid would have been better off not saying nothing, keeping his thoughts to himself. Now, I don't know the laws in New Zealand pertaining to freedom of speech. I know a lot of countries try to advocate that they're free speech, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, they're not. You certainly don't have freedom of speech in the United States. Let's just be honest, guys. You really don't. It's a good mantra. It's a great, tourist slogan. Come to America and speak for free. But be careful what you say. There is no such thing as freedom of speech. No such thing as freedom in general. None are free. Nobody is. Even the wealthy are trapped. They're trapped behind the door. Because without their weapons, without their tanks and guns, they know that instead of being in school, the poor would be marching on their door. See, when you have people out here literally living in the streets, and you have folks living opulently, you're going to always get conflict. Here's the bottom line, guys. Now, a lot of people talk this smack about wanting to get back to nature, blah, blah, blah. Can we be honest about that for 1 second? I mean, it's a beautiful notion. You know, it's as romantic as being a gunslinger in the Wild West, putting down your brand of justice. But in reality, guys, nobody's trying to go back to this if they could avoid it. Who wants to sit there in some sewing sweatshop? But you like the clothes you're wearing, right? You love the house that you're living in, correct? That means somebody has to get out there and manually do the work. This is why socialism is such a bad ideal for melanated men and women in these United States. Oh, they'll come up with every reason. Deep in the U.S. oil country. Look at that beautiful oil well with all the flowers. But who built that oil well out there? Who actually dug the hole for that, drilled the hole? The peons, the peasantry. Let's be honest. It wasn't Trump. It wasn't Comey. It wasn't Manford or Clinton or Obama or any of them out here digging a ditch, or not a ditch, but digging a hole and pumping out oil. That's peasant work. Now, a lot of you guys are going to be offended being called peasants or serfs or skilled craftsmen and women's. But the reality is not everybody can be funded by some liberal or some conservative out there pushing people because they fit an economic ideology that these people want to try to say represents their ideology. Okay? Here's the thing. Hold on, let me fix my camera. I hate it being off like that on the side. Okay. There we go. Here's the thing. Who wants to be riding a bike when you could be driving a car? Who wants to be sitting here with gas or a mask on because the air's too damn polluted to breathe? And who believes that Ireland deserves reparations for what the UK has done to them? That was kind of funny. But here's the thing, guys. And this is it. While we're sitting here wondering about how we can basically right the wrongs of the past and blah, 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 no one's addressing the inequalities of the present. See, unlike a lot of people who advocate for reparations, I don't even bring up the slave thing. I don't bring up the Jim Crow thing. I don't bring up none of that bullshit because of the fact that it's been brought up before. And guess what? Ain't shit changed. So why continue to bring up the same bullshit and expect different results? We got to come up with new bullshit. Something that will actually reach people's minds and touch their souls. And get them to change their hardened position on setting right. Now we can know why it should be this way. We can understand why. But until you make it personable, no one's going to get it, man. Once again, I ask, if everyone, not just black folks, but everyone, had a guaranteed base of pay, and by law, and this is where law should be adjudicated or pointed to. you set how much you can spend or how much you can charge for anything. In other words, you can have price range. You can say the most fabulous TV could is, let's say, $10,000. To the most wackest TV could be zero. In other words, you will only set max amount. It could be from zero all the way to the max. So that way we don't have inflation. That way we don't have, you still have inflation, but you won't have, in other words, when all the checks come out, all the business like, oh yeah, now this candy bar is going to be $20. No. And you'll probably find that because then people can actually develop and maintain wealth, acquire wealth, accumulate wealth. Most folks will not stop working because people work for different reasons. Not everyone works just for a paycheck. I'm telling you once again, there's all kinds of reasons why people get up, get out of bed, and do something. But we all know the real game. The reason why we're not going to play Monopoly right. Because hell, even in a Monopoly game, you pass go. Now, Africa needs cash. Science for new model. Hold on. Of green development leaders. Now, oh my God. This green concept or ideal is the precursor to Agenda 21. It's just like abortion. It's just like anything else. They start off slow. It almost seems practical. But whenever they deny you freedom, then that's when we have a problem. That's when we have a problem. And let's face it, they are denying people freedom. We're like, how? How are they denying people freedom? For one, if you elect to use GMO seeds, then you better use all the products that basically come along with that. Now, granted, yes, you do have the right to use the seed or not. But once the seed becomes the only seed available, there goes your freedom. There goes your ability to choose. Now, hopefully you're smart enough to have seed saved up. Now, I'm just using seed as an example. It applies to many other things. But hopefully you had other seeds set up to where you don't have to go back. It's always about in perpetuity with these corporations. Yes, I'm not doing that. The computer is constantly, I don't know why it's doing that. And it's really frustrating. I try to stop it, but yeah, it's not going to work. Hold on. I'll even try that number. Let's see if this is going to fix the problem. I can't stand that blinking shit. Please stand by. We're having technical difficulties. Damn. All right. Whatever. We'll just work around it. It doesn't matter. I can only be on here for a minute. I'm getting ready to head out and do a little framing today. Yes, when you're your own boss, you can do whatever the fuck. I can work all the way up until 9 o'clock tonight. I can work until fucking 2 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. The house is in a very chill area. But I got to start grabbing up all my tools. And I got a shit ton of tools. Air compressor, nail guns. Probably even going to have to bring my little Dremel down there. But floors and walls today. And then tomorrow it's going to be, I guess, start looking at, I got to sand off all the texture in the house. So I'm going to bring my gas mask down there. And I'm going to be a sanding full. But at any rate, I want to get back to this concept of using the same old bullshit, expecting different results. The reason why they use the same tactic, one planet, climate summit, one planet. Of course, how obvious can that be? But they're letting you know, take out the word planet. One government, one kingdom, one nation. And they're going to use climate because, once again, once you get people in fear, oh my God, those evil corporations are polluting the skies. So therefore, I had to be a mindless drone. Now, I'm not talking about us. Now, we know they're polluting the skies for different reasons. They're polluting the skies because they're straight up doing tests on us. Seeing, how much juice we can take. Now, let's go down to this next one. Chinese expand switch from polluting clothes, heating, and to... Oh, come on. Hey, Scorpio, you're right. It's the wordplay. Of course. They do not give two shits about saving this planet. Because if they did care, they would provide... If they did care, and who I mean by they, the folks truly with the power to affect things, people with the power. Climate change, brother David, that climate change shit is a hoax. Of course, it's Agenda 21. This is how they started off. They have to get people psychologically on board. Any fool can go outside and say, hey, something's happened with the environment. Something's off. Something's not right. And then you have all these panels of so-called experts come in. You see, lady, the reason why you're hanging on to this dying branch here and all this shit's all fucked up is because of corporations and these, all this pollution, which that's actually steam coming off of nuclear cooling towers. But, to the untrained, it might as well be like this. Listen, once again, here's the reality. If every green beaner out there who's all about saving Mother Earth, Mother Earth, Mother Earth, Mother Earth was really about it, how come their ass isn't living in a mud hut somewhere? Really in tune with nature, really getting the essence of it. Because it's not about being in tune with fucking nature. It's about you being subservient to them. It's about them having all the technology and all the goodies while you're living there with Granny out there in a shithole, fucking bumfuck situation. That's what it's about. It's about them driving these opulent cars and your monkey ass walking around in fucking flip-flops. That's what it is about. You have all these people who have no stake in the shit. Climate change, climate change. Do you guys not realize the earth is constantly changing? It has been constantly changing. It's never stagnant. Like everything in the 3D universe here, it's constantly in movement and constantly changing. Now, if you're going to equate this chick having to buy water with climate change, you're a fool. The reason why this chick is buying this water is because she believes this water is better than the shit coming out of her tap. She believes that this water, which is not regulated, by the way, and God knows what's in it, is better than the water coming out of her tap. Now, we can bring up all kinds of case studies that's, once again, until I actually get into the lab and perform the experiments, look at the data from the experiment and interpret that data according to scientific criteria, you got to take all this bullshit on faith. You really do. Because you can sit up here and talk, we can prove that the earth is getting warmer, blah, blah, blah. Well, you can look into the Bible and it tells you that in the days, the earth is going to get warmer. Well, you can go out there and look at the birds and see that they're sleeping with frogs. What's up, man? War? I'm just another day battling the subversiveness on the internet with common sense and logic, getting the people back to reality. Now, while you're sitting here thinking, Oh my God, look, they got lab-grown meat. I'm showing you right there. That's lab-grown meat. That's your new hamburgers. You fucking peasants will not even get the luxury of eating a real cow no more. They're gonna market this shit as a pain-free meat or abuse-free meat. And I know a lot of my vegetarian brothers and sisters are like, well, True Power, this is a better alternative. So let's break this shit down, War. Let's break this shit down, David. And let's break this shit down, Scorpio. We're gonna quite rapidly go from a time to where you can literally walk outside, grow something, raise something, skin it, kill it, harvest it, and cook it, to fast entering a time to where the plants are GMO. They don't produce nothing. Once they die, they're dead. And the meat comes out of a test tube. There are no animals to breed, so you won't get that meat for in perpetuity. There are no seeds to keep up. Oh! I'm getting there, War. I'm getting there with the artificial intelligence. So first, they debase your bread. You say nothing. Then they debase your meat source. You say nothing. Next, they're going to debase the way you actually think with artificial intelligence. And guess what? By design, you ain't going to say shit. This is the Orwellian shithole that most peasants and peons are going to end up in by default. Because unless you have real bucks, you ain't getting out of this rat hole, buddy. You are not getting out of it. Everyone thinks like, oh, well, yes, War. It's called TV programming for a reason. Robots don't have to be metal. Robots can be made of flesh. All a robot really has to do is be willing to do work at the whims of the operator. I mean, how many people are going to get up out of bed today, talk some crazy shit on TV, and get paid? Well, they're robots. That's what they do. Now they may go home and bitch and moan. All right. Oh, here we go. Talk positive to sell climate actions to voters. Europe politicians told. Do you not see the play? If they gave two fucks about fucking climate, for one, they wouldn't have colonized the world. They wouldn't utterly and completely pollute third world nations in the southern equator. Pollute them to such a degree. And if that doesn't hurt, then they'll come in with the biological agents and juice everybody up with shots. I know a lot of people, don't want to believe that a lot of these so-called charities use Africa or Kemet as a testing ground, a proving ground, to see how effective their poison is. So with that being said, hold on. I want to start when I get off, well, when I come back, and hopefully, I will come back. I'm not going to start off here. Dutch Tramp Terror. What the hell? Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. I need to grab one thing. Honestly, if you guys don't mind, I want to grab another thing. I gotta get some water, something. other day, it was funny. I was having a conversation, and one of the listeners, and they go, I've been kind of like a downer here lately or something, Listen, I am not doing this to try to downplay, anything. I don't want people basically get to like downtrodden or whatnot. All right, new low. Hold on, where was I going? I was going to go to Dutch, and then people like to feel good in prison. Well, yes, War. When you're a prisoner, all you got is swing low, sweet chariot coming to take me home. But I'm telling you, you don't have no fucking home to go to. Your home has fucking been subverted by you. Away from you, actually. You gotta realize, man, you keep on living in this fucking past. You keep on playing these fucking games that don't have no end in sight. Or else you can get with the real and get with, let's move to the fucking future. Let's end this horse shit right here, right now. Let's move to the fucking future as one. If not, keep your monkey ass behind me. Keep on, because I'm moving to the fucking future. And those with me, we're moving to the fucking future. Now, whether you want to accept it or not, you're going to end up in the future. No one can stay in the present or in the past. No, you can use it for your particular scam or rhetoric or whatever. But the reality is, yes, the world, see, this is the trip about this world. Yes, the world will be united in one. But it's going to be united in one the wrong way. Where are the bees? Anyone knows? Yes. You know the reason why the bees? I hate to tell it like this here, guys. You think you're going to trick the universe or cheat the universe of its due. You think you're going to somehow skate by the Most High's noticing. Those bees, these critters around here, the worms in the ground, they provide a purpose. They know their purpose. No future, sir, without knowing a little about the past. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true, Brother David. Look at orphans. They don't know about their genetic past, but they just quite fine. They don't know who their mom and dad are. And maybe most of them don't ever will know. See, that's the lie. But people put too much reverence in the past. Because that negates the power that you have right now living. Now, granted, yes, once you're dead, the past, and people think about you from time to time if they do. Of course, now it's locked in stone. But until that happens, until you actually come to the point where you have no future living, the past really is a limitation in many respects. It's a limitation. Even if you want to sit here and reminisce on the good old glory days, because the fact that you're taking time thinking about, fantasizing about good old glory days, you're not actually utilizing precious time. Because right now, the most precious thing you have, Brother David, Brother War, and everyone else who can hear me, is that it's your time before you die. Once the orphan finds out, back to past, right? Don't do it. No, New Zealand was a hoax. The shooter held this, handcuff. See, this is what and these are comments that we're reading, that I'm reading, actually, not we. The live studio audience is still asleep. Yes. So, look, guys and gals, and everything in between. If you think for 1 second that the folks that truly possess power, the folks that can pick up the phone and influence the stock market right now as I talk to you, if you think for 1 second they're handing over their power to you or anybody else without a fight, you're sadly mistaken. And then that segues me into my next question. Actually, this is my first question. The last bit was more or less a statement in the form of a question. Do you think you can fight the powers that be? Militarily speaking, does anyone believe that they can fight the powers that be? Because I believe the overwhelming majority of people realize they cannot. I believe the overwhelming majority of people feel as if they can somehow slide up underneath the radar and not be noticed. You see, guys, there should be a telltale sign that whatever you're doing, if it has to go unnoticed or needs to be in the shadows, that means it's a threat to those that are in power and that could actually hurt you. See, anybody can sit here and talk about people who don't have power, people who don't have money or wealth or affluence and all that. Yeah, they're easy. But no one talks about the bankers. Yes, I fight ER every day in my mind. I'm with Brother David. I always can bring some humor to the game. A lot of people don't get Brother David, but that's cool as long as David gets himself. We all can if we can let go of the fear. Yes, war. But the people who are going to let go of the fear, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just calling it like it is. The people who can let go of the fear are the people who are banding together right now on a higher level because they let go of their fear of love for humanity. They let go of their fear of being a servant to the Most High. They let go of their fear being a decent human being. I'm going to bring this full circle. I'm talking about the people in control now. So as they let go of their fear, they use musicians, they use artists, they use writers, they use goons, they use armies to perpetuate fear in the greater society. So while people are trying to click up and trying to get into small little cabals to try to fight this greater thing, the folks at the top without the fear, certainly of the beast that they're putting together. And there's two tiers of these folks too at the top, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. While they're doing that, then us little people are like dazed, confused, and scared. So we're out doing God knows what. Now at the top level, once again, there's two. They're fractified just like everybody else, divide just like everybody else. There's the traditional, I guess let's just call them legacy elite, and then there's that new, pseudo-new techno elite. I believe the techno elites are more nihilistic in purpose and cause, meaning that they just want everything to die. They really want to build a death force. They want to build not biological, but a mechanical gadget, for lack of better words, that can feed on flesh and plant life for energy, and also get it from the sun, and it's totally wipe out all life on the earth. They hate the Most High that much. They hate God that much. Like I always said, if you can't beat up the man, they always go to kicking his dog or keying up his car. You see, when you can't go to the man, and be like, hey, partner, I got a problem. And that partner puts some lumps on your head, lumpity lump, bump, bump, scump, and you go walking off looking retarded, busted up. You're going to come back at night under, like a little ninja. Dun, 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 dun. See that dog kick? Arr, arr. Dun, 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 dun. See that car scratch? Busting windows and shit. You'll fuck up his property because you can't fuck him up. Well, see, that's what the sons and daughters of Satan, that's what they're working with. You know? How many lumps? 3 or 4. Enough to get the message through. See, the sons and daughters of Satan, they know they can't get with the Most High. They know that if they step out of line, the Most High will destroy them like he's going to destroy their father. So that's why with them, time is quite literally of the essence. That's why they're getting more brazened. That's why do you think they put out all this, the old information to let you know this is how people were manipulated, this is why this is cracking, blah, blah, blah. Why do you think they do that? Not for some macabre history lesson. Hey, what's up, Lonnie? Welcome to the show. People in power never let go of their power. They have to be conquered, subdued, or whatever you want to call it. History, exactly. Great point, Jackson. You see, the reason why they let you know the method, it puts thoughts in your minds that everything is totally controlled, totally conquered already, which is a lie. The only reason why it appears this way is because information has been so utterly censored that you only get one perspective, most of us, even at that. You got to see that the real thing that they're scared of, the real thing that could really put the beast back in the check, but it's not going to happen. I'm telling you straight up right now to your face, it's not going to happen. But this is what they're scared of. Righteous men and women no longer compromising on principle and standing together united. That's what fears them. Now, as long as you're promoting some weird sex cult, as long as you're promoting some weird spirituality that when you die, you go back to Father Satan one way or another, you're cool. You won't be messed with. But the moment you stand up and you start talking about spirituality that will truly free the minds and hearts and souls of the people, now, unfortunately, your shit's going to get banned. Banned the fuck up. And if you're too slick about it and you get around all that shit, see, they'll give you warnings. They'll give you warnings. But you better be smart enough to see them. Or else you better be dumb enough not to give a fuck. Because if you get too slick, all I got to say is do not drive through Dallas, Texas as a president with your top down. And I know y'all get what I'm saying. These people ain't playing game. Just like you mothers and fathers will basically put a motherfucker 6 feet deep for harming your child. That's how these people are with their money. That's how these people are with their gold. That's how these people are with their sex slaves. You have to open the eye to see. Word. The bastards all over my shit too. This is the state of affairs on this planet today. Now, you can follow whoever you want. You can believe whatever you want. But a lot of you out there understand what you want and what you need are often two different things. If you're the person that wants to have the money and the wealth and the power and the prestige versus you're the person that wants to live in harmony and live in peace with others. That's the polar opposites, like on the spiritual realm, that keeps the circuit going. You got to have the positive, you got to have the negative to complete the circuit. And the energy goes through all the capacitors, the reducers, the amplifiers, all those different components on the circuit board to complete the program. I'm telling you, the programmer, the Most High, the one that created the energy source, the one that created software, the hardware, the metals, the plastics, everything. He doesn't fear. I mean, think for that for one second. Everything else in this universe, at one time or another, fears something, but not the Most High. Then I heard a boom from the amplifier. See, this is what I'm talking about, Brother David. Dutch police hunt for Turkish man after 3 shot dead in tram. Now, do you think that could potentially be, what's that called, retaliation? Continuation of the conflict? Because there's some conflicts going on that no one wants to talk about. Everybody just want to point the finger. Look at the UN says 2008 deadliest year for Syrian children, with 1,106 little ones dead. That little boy, that little boy, that little boy, that little boy. Hey, good morning, Brother Murders. What's up? Welcome to the show. Glad you can join us. 2 Belgian women renouncing Islamic State. Fears kids will never go home. Now look at this little boy in that blonde hair. For that little boy to have blonde hair, she has to have blonde hair and the daddy has to have blonde hair. So that means the daddy was one of the ISIS fighters. So ISIS fighters have blonde hair, blue-eyed folks fighting for them as well. Now that shouldn't come to a shock. I know y'all know what time it is. I mean, that don't even look right. Got this little baby holding a suitcase. ISIS is a product of CIA. Reinhardt done trading the Mossad and its incepts. Photoshop. Yeah, well, we already did that Photoshop experiment last night. That was tight. Now here's the Scooby and here's the Do. What did ISIS achieve in the Middle East? I mean, how many decent Muslims were murdered by them? Non-threatening Muslims, all they wanted to do was love, work, raise their family, worship the way that they see fit. But maybe because they were a little, maybe one had a computer in the house, or maybe some books or something that they didn't like, or maybe there was some beef prior to, the locals rising up in the form of ISIS and taking over the area. But how many died? Was an ex-Nazi general allowed to escape? The persecution of the Middle Eastern Christians. Oh, I'm getting to that murder. I'm getting to that. Coptic Christians and Assyrian Catholics and so on. Let's look at it from a bigger picture. Let's say that we had a organization or association with, let's say, 1 billion people. But because of scandals in our said organization, people are kind of leaving it in droves. What's the best boogeyman to get people right back in them pews? Right back in that position is to get them thinking that, oh my God, this other radical group are going to come up and this crush us. Let's run back up in there. Abdullah. Speaking of Syrian Catholics, Steve Jobs was one. His real name was Abdul. Blue bean shit would do it. Blue bean. They don't know what. I mean, I know that the folks here, but people potentially watching this show later will not know what Project Blue Beam is. Probably Blue Beam is when they shoot that image of basically, for lack of better words, the white Jesus in the sky, or or the white Muhammad, whatever, white Buddha, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's what's going to fool everybody. Now, once again, hold on. I was researching some shit earlier. What the? Hold on. I forget who this chick is. Oh, Thomas Sowell, the good economist. See, what happened today was I was over here on Twitter. Hold up. And I don't have a very big presence on Twitter at all. I basically use Twitter as a, I don't know. That shit gonna be funny. Put down that damn. Stanwell was a good old house. Okay, that's what I was. See, I didn't really research him too much, Brother Murder. But that's what I was getting. That's what I was thinking. No reason why? Because I found this cat. I was on this person's whatever. Now hold on. I want to show you guys something that I grabbed up earlier. I want to go in on this right here. Now her face ain't what it's about. Hold on. Look at that big old knot she has. Look at this big ass bruise she has. This legion on her face. This is what I'm talking about. That right there. Hopefully y'all can see that. Yeah, that's not my computer screen. That right there is a sign of something. Maybe someone at Fox popped her on that fucking head before she started her bullshit. Because she don't have that dome, that thing on her little profile picture here. She don't have that little, that knot, that thing. Well, looks like I have a house guest, guys. I will continue this later on tonight. As always, live your life with integrity, without hate, envy, or greed. As always, be kinder to each other and live with integrity. Peace.